have to reject any or all childhood vaccines for the children, including any potential vaccine for COVID-19, and support your position with why you take the stance that you do.
I don't think the government has authority to force parents to give a vaccine if the parent, for whatever religion or personal reason, decides not to. However, I do think it's logical to get proven, time-tested vaccines like polio, MMR, DTP, vaccines that have been proven. But it's up to the parents and not the government to decide. We shouldn't give that right to the government. As for a COVID-19 virus, I won't take it. It'll be rushed, it'll be unproven, ineffective probably, and dangerous. So I won't take the COVID-19 virus. I won't take any future microchip, no mark of the beast. Now the COVID virus, should we take on common sense? Wash your hands, social distance as possible, common sense. But this hysteria, this fear that runs through our society is nonsense. Business being shut down, schools being shut down is ridiculous. Use common sense. At this point, COVID-19 isn't just a virus, it's a political thing, it's about control. And once we give the government control, once we decide, but the government decides who can buy, who can sell, that's a dangerous road to head down. And it's not one I will stand by. That's one I will resist. Use common sense, take the polio vaccine, proven vaccines, but COVID-19 vaccine, I won't take. Thank you.
Stephen Biles, Missouri State Representative. Do you support school choice? Why or why not? If you do, well, what alternatives do you think should be included? How would you handle funding? If you don't, what needs to be done to improve education outcomes?
For the last 7 years, I've worked in the state school system as a special education substitute teacher and teacher aide right here in Nevada. So that's my background in education. I do support school choice. No parent or guardian should have to send their child to a school that's unsafe or has poor educators. It should be up to the parent to decide. Now, private schools, charter schools, religious schools, homeschooling, all those should be options. One thing we need to make sure is that the people who work in schools are properly paid. The money we make in schools is pathetic, but we do it because we love it, and that's important. Now, as we're paying for it, school vouchers, there's pros and cons to that. The good thing is school vouchers lets the parents decide where to send their kids. To send them to a school that is good for their needs, their interests, and so forth. No one wants to send their kid to a school that's unsafe, and inner cities are run by gangs. No one wants that. So there's cons too. Vouchers can take away from public schools. And not all schools are able to handle special education kids, special needs. So whether it's private school or homeschooling, we need to make sure that all kids are taken care of no matter what their needs, no matter what they need. The other thing is to get rid of the federal Department of Education. The federal government has no say in education. They have no constitutional right. The federal Department of Education has a budget of over $70 billion. That's over $1 billion per state. $1 billion that could go to directly fund public schools and other schools. So yes, I support school choice. And I say abolish the federal Department of Education. Thank you.
Concerns and what potential issues do you see with the recent expansion in Missouri in mail-in voting, and what safeguards are there to prevent voter fraud? Does the law allow for a liberal county like St. Louis to administer the law differently from a more conservative one like Vernon County? Is there anything additional you would have added?
Well, absentee ballot voting is necessary if you're ill, for whatever reason, you can't come to the poll. It's necessary. But Bill SB 631, that's what we're talking about, I would not have voted for. It was rushed through, there's no safeguards for voting fraud, it was a mess. The possible consequences were not thought through. We could have ballots sent to the wrong address, double ballots, ballots not signed, ballot harvesting, all sorts of problems. The election this year, it's going to be messy, and I don't trust that all ballots are going to be counted fairly. I would not have voted for SB 631. Now, as for St. Louis, Kansas City, other counties like that, I don't trust them. Look at St. Louis. They don't respect the Constitution. Look what happened to McCloskey's. There were a couple trying to protect their homes from violent rioters and looters. They got their guns taken away from them. They got charged for protecting their homes. Are we going to respect St. Louis? No. No, St. Louis doesn't respect the Constitution. Kansas City, no better. Their mayor is a joke. Mayor Quentin Lucas, he's high-fiving the rioters, high-fiving the looters who broke down windows in Westport. And then a couple weeks later, he's saying mandatory mask. And last weekend, their mayor is in Lake of the Ozarks hanging out with a bunch of people wearing no mask. Hypocrites. I don't trust St. Louis. I don't trust Kansas City. I don't think they're going to have fair elections. I would not trust Bill SB 631. Thank you. We live in extraordinary times, challenging times, difficult times. If this was normal times, an average political representation would be tolerable, but it is not. We need people who will stand up against the Antifa terrorists, the communists, the socialists, the anti-American groups that have plagued our cities, our states, our nation. Now is not the time for weakness. Now is time for strength. Where people are strong, dedicated, hardworking. That's what I offer. I want a government that is small as possible, intrusive as possible. I want to protect the Bill of Rights. Our First Amendment is under attack. If you don't agree with the social justice warriors, if you don't agree with the mainstream media, you can lose your job. First Amendment is under attack. You can't have churches, you can't have funerals, group gatherings, but rioting, looting is okay. That's intolerable. That cannot be tolerated. Second Amendment, McCloskey's gun rights under attack. And 10th Amendment, very important, state rights. There will be a time, hopefully not this year, but there will be a time when the Democrats have control of the White House and control of Congress. You can bet they will put their boots on the necks of state rights, and they will force us to live under California crazy laws and stuff like that. We have to protect our state rights for when that time comes. We have to be willing to resist, fight back against the anti-American groups. We need strength, and that's what I offer. Thank you.